episode number 10 of the Comeback series. Today is day one. We normally do squats on day one, as you guys know. However, decided to take this week a bit easier and actually take some time off squatting, but we're not making the same mistakes that we have in the past where we just take all this time off. I'm going to be doing some belt squats. So I've done 3 sets of 6, pretty heavy on the belt squat. Then I backed it off and did 3 sets of 12 on the belt squat. So getting some sufficient squatting volume in. So when I do return to my normal low bar back squatting in however many weeks, might be 1 week, might be 2 weeks, might be 3 weeks, might be a month, I don't know. Just gonna wait and see how this hip feels. And I'm gonna keep doing a whole bunch of other sort of accessory movements as well to try and keep building up that hip strength and tolerance, all whilst belt squatting. And as for the hinge movement, I don't necessarily know what I'm going to do there. I tried to do some B stance dumbbell RDLs, and I don't know if it was my mind wasn't in it or what, but just even picking up the dumbbell, I just didn't feel like capable or ready to do that. So I chose not to do the dumbbell RDL. Anyway, we'll keep on keeping on, and you know, this is all part of the Comeback series, and this is why I actually wanted to document it the way that I wanted to document it, was because I didn't want it to just be me coming back at full strength. You know, I know it's inevitable, like I will get there, but I knew it was going to be a process to get there. So a part of this Comeback series is documenting, you know, the ebbs and flows and recognizing that progress isn't going to be linear, and it's all about, you know, coming up with strategies and adapting and finding a way, come hell or high water. We've got a lot of positives still going on. You know, a bench press, I think, is going to be, again, our sort of main focus for the next little bit, while I just sort of, at least the next couple of weeks, while I work through this sort of hip thing and hopefully get it cleared up. You know, I pushed through for a week and it didn't come good, so it's time to play it smart. So that's my thought behind why I'm doing what I'm doing this week, and taking it not easier, but just working around it and finding movements that I can do and can still push hard, but won't contribute to, you know, a negative outcome for my hip. So that is all part of the thinking and the process here. As for what the program is going to look like, I'll probably have to play around with it a little bit. So this is just one week. You know, I've sort of come up with this session on the fly, and I've been thinking about it on and off throughout the day, is sort of what I might do. And I'm pretty happy for the most part with how it is. I'm doing some movements here at the moment that I haven't done before. So I'm doing this like glute kickback thing, which is pretty exciting, and I can feel that will hopefully get some hip activation going on. The annoying thing is I don't really know what goes on with this hip. As I said, I kind of had one good week at the start of this year, then it went to shit for about 10 days, and then it came good, and I didn't really do anything special other than kept training. And then when it happened again, you know, 10 weeks later, I thought, I'll just keep training and it will come good, but not to be. So that's why we're having to implement this strategy. But anyway, it's going to be an interesting one. If anything, it could be some good content here as I sort of work around some things. Today, I didn't film as much because I was a little bit, you know, thinking and in my head around what I should do. But certainly Wednesday's lower body session and Friday's lower body session, I should be doing some more vlogging and talking you guys through it. So I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board between now and then anyway to figure out what's going on. But anyway, we'll get there. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode number 10. Sorry, it's a bit of a low energy intro. The energy will pick up throughout the week as we get ourselves sorted. And inevitably when this hip starts feeling good, that's always going to be a pickup, but who knows how long that's going to be. Anyway, let's keep on keeping on and finish this session off. official beach day, the upper body day. Today was a little bit of an off day. Had a couple of really good days in the office back to back. Haven't really been able to get my lunchtime walk in. Have hardly had time to eat, to be honest. And as a result, I've been a bit flogged. Yesterday and certainly today didn't feel great at all. But we were able to do 160 for 2 sets of 3 on the bench on the wide grip, and then I went back to my sort of mid grip and I did 155 kilo for 4 sets of 3. So got my 6 sets of 3 in, and then we've done our dumbbell work and some back work, doing some more back work here now with some extra tricep work over on the dip station too. So slowly but surely getting through it. I'll come back tomorrow, hit some lower body again. I actually, after yesterday's session, where I wasn't quite sure how I was going to pull up, those 6 sets of belt squats absolutely destroyed my legs, which was good. And plus, obviously, my quad extensions and all the other stuff I did as well. So I definitely felt like I got a good stimulus in the legs, and the hip didn't get flared up. So that's a big win from yesterday. We'll keep on keeping on with these accessories here on the upper body day. And we've still got another 2 rounds of these to do, plus some arm work as well. So better get to it and better get through it. So onwards and upwards, here we go. warm-up session, get it off the 6 string to 2 string stuff. Yeah, there's enough of this that all have this to restart. And then try it on or whatever as well. I'm about to do some mobbing.
Hey?
I'm about to do some
Oh, right. I'm
Yeah.
like, are you filming this whole conversation?
Yeah, this whole conversation is being straight and vlog this week. Preferably the soft one, preferably a metre long, doing stock, and something you have to put there. Starting something that's flat. Converse is the one to start with if you're just going to buy something local. But if you want to go straight to Continental, Advances, or something like that, this is great. New toys, this is great. And yeah, that's probably good. Just thought I'd jump on here and recap today's bench pressing. So today was the 8 sets of 2 day and did pretty well, all things considered. We did a bit of a pyramid style scheme just while we're playing around with a few different things. So we did 2 sets at 160, then we did a set at 165, then we did 2 sets at 170. These are all for doubles. Then I did another down set at 165 and then 2 more down sets at 160. So a whole bunch of heavy volume there, and by the end of it I was pretty fatigued and I am pretty fucked now. So that's a good sign of things. Look, all things considered, I actually wasn't moving as good as my fatigue bench session I did last Friday after my deadlifts, and I did the 4x4 at 160. That was actually a better benching session, I would say, than probably this one. And that 2x2 at 170 was definitely a PB, given that we've ramped up as well with heaps of sort of working set volume, so it was under fatigue as well. It's a good sign. So obviously we need to start pushing these numbers north, more and more north, and starting to actually get what we need to get from heavier sets, sets of 4. I probably want to be around that 170 mark for sets of 4. That'd be ideal. But for the time being, I'll take the 170 for a 2x2. So anyway, that is this portion of the workout done. Just thinking about yesterday's session, I did a whole bunch of repeated stuff from Monday's session. So I did some belt squats, and I did some of the glute work that I've been doing to try and rehab this right hip. But then I also did a heap of other different bits and pieces. So I did a pendulum squat for 3 sets of 12 paused. And then I did some, what else? I did some glute ham raises, some adductions, some quad extensions, some hamstring curls, some, some glute sort of kickbacky things on that machine upstairs. So yeah, been going really good and getting a hell of a lot of work in. So hopefully, in time we'll get that hip right, and we'll make some progress again on the lower body. But for the time being, we'll just focus on the upper body like we always do when these things happen, and we'll stay in one piece and live to lift another day. Okay, it is a early morning session here on Good Friday morning. We've got a full day of golf coming up, so got to get the session in nice and early. I'm training out of home and I'm still working around that hip thing. It's actually feeling fantastic today, but I am sort of doing a 2 to 3 week sort of repair and restore block. So I'm working through some 4 sets of 4 on bench press, pretty light. That's 20 kilos down from last week's 4x4 on the same day. Obviously, circumstances very different. I'm doing some belt squat sets of 12 over in the back there too for 4 sets of 12. Doing some dumbbell hamstring curls down here. And then after this, I'm going to do some RDLs, snatch grip RDLs to really load limit. I'm going to do some glute ham raise stuff, going to do some dumbbell benching, and probably some barbell rows. I don't know where I'm going to squeeze them in, so I'll put some in there as well. But anyway, just going to keep working through this session. It's more of just keeping the flow of things going. You're not going to make any great leaps and bounds with a session like this, but it's all about just keeping myself ready and prepared for week to week. So anyway, going to keep on working through this. It's just one of those work sessions where nothing's exciting, nothing's feeling good, but it's got to be done nevertheless. So that'll get me through it, that mindset, and I'll get back to benching my 140 kilos for my last set of 4. And then, yeah, obviously over on the belt squat, which I'm actually really happy to be back on this belt squat. This is my own belt squat. As you can see, it's in my home gym, and I love it. And I've got this really good setup at the moment with these blocks as well for a bit of extra range of motion, and just also just feeling a lot better when I unrack it and where the weight sort of sits. So yeah, all these little things that you play around with over the years, and they all come together. So anyway, I'll get to it.